what's up, my tech tycoon? So today I'm literally going to teach you how to sell poop. And that might sound like an obscenely crazy thing to put on video, but there's a method behind my madness. And the reason why I wanted to shoot this episode is because I've seen so many startups, so many founders make stuff and then not be able to sell what they've made. Obviously, this is a problem because startups, entrepreneurship isn't just about making stuff, it's about selling them and about reaching a mass market so that, whatever your innovation is can be used by loads of people. The most common mistake that I see is that founders spend so much time on building their product. And in fact, to a certain extent, I blame kind of the startup gurus for this because there are so many books about building the perfect product and there are so many articles about building the perfect product and talking to your customers, which you should absolutely do. But you do not need to have a perfect product. You don't even have to have the best product in order to win and to build sales and, to be successful. And this is particularly true for entrepreneurs that maybe have a technical background. And the thing that they are most familiar with, which is very natural, is just building things, engineering, features and what have you. And even if you are a founder that is kind of more aesthetically inclined or has a background in user-centered design, you might really focus on getting that product perfect before you actually try to sell it. I don't think that the problem is really getting your product out. I see a lot of founders getting their products out and listening to that mantra of, just when in doubt, ship it and get feedback. But the problem is really getting customers to use it, to try it, to buy it. Without further ado, I am going to give you proof that you can actually sell poop and still make money. So imagine what you can do if you build a good product or a great product or an amazing product. So if I came to you and I told you I will sell you a pile of poop for $12, what would you think? You'd probably think that I was absolutely bonkers. But there are people that actually sell manure for $12, manure sculptures. So if you want proof, Google dung lawn ornaments or manure ornaments. In fact, you can go to dungbunnies.com. This is not a joke, D-U-N-G bunnies.com, and you can see for yourself that there are people selling manure sculptures for $12, literally selling poop. And this isn't even a new trend. I remember, the reason why I thought of it is because I remember when I was in my teenage years, so longer than I care to admit, I was walking by kind of an upscale store in a college town and I literally saw the same thing. Dung sculptures that are meant to fertilize your lawn being sold in the display window of a fairly upscale, store. I was absolutely shocked, but it really kind of taught me a lot about capitalism, that you don't necessarily have to sell the most beautiful, shiny new thing in order to make money. And at the end of the day, in order for you to be successful and to reach a mass audience, you do have to make money and you do have to get customers. The story doesn't end there. What I really wanted to kind of dissect is how can people actually sell poop to other people? And if you think about it, you obviously can't just sell any poop. And you can't just sell it to anybody. So if you literally went, to Starbucks or you flagged people down the street and you told them, pay me $12 for a pile of manure, you'd get laughed at and maybe you'd get punched in the face. So don't try it. But on the other hand, if you get the right customer and you present what you're offering, your pile of poop, in the right way, with the right benefits, you can actually charge $12 for a pile of poop. Would it work, for example? So who would be your target audience if you wanted to sell, manure sculptures? It would probably be people that are interested in gardening, right? It wouldn't just be anybody off the street. It would be somebody that probably does, tends their garden. In addition to that, it probably wouldn't be somebody that, uses a lot of chemicals. So if they go to Home Depot and they buy a bunch of Roundup and Miracle Grow and whatever, that is probably not your customer. So who is most likely to be your customer? Well, first of all, $12 for a pile of poop is, not cheap. So they probably have to be a little bit on the wealthier side. They probably also need to be very worried about pesticides and about using chemicals in their garden. So, your ideal customer is probably a very kind of organically minded gardener with some, substantial disposable income. Not only that, but how you sell it and how you package it is also really important. So it's not about, the positioning is not about, hey, this poop bunny is gonna make your garden look great. I don't think that's a really good sell. They don't really look that great. But what would be great, the fact that they kind of look like they're a part of the garden, they kind of look aesthetically pleasing, and they can provide organic fertilizer for your flower bed or your tomatoes or what have you. Obviously, using manure to fertilize gardens isn't anything new, and it's something that is popular to a lot of gardeners. But there you go. I mean, if you have the right messaging, if you have the right positioning, and if you reach the right audience, you can even sell a pile of poop to people for as much as, if not more than, $12 a pop, and you can make money. And so imagine if there are people that are selling, manure ornaments for $12 a pop. Imagine what you could do with the product that you're selling. Now, I'm not saying that, if your product is complete crap, pardon the pun, and it breaks and it completely doesn't work, you will probably have a really, really hard time selling it. Not only that, you might be a really great salesperson and people may not buy from you again if, you promise them the world but under-deliver. But what I am trying to tell you is that you don't have to wait to sell to make the perfect product to sell. And you really have to be cognizant of how do you position it, how do you package it, and more than that, who is your ideal customer. It's not just anybody on the street. It's not just anybody that gardens. It is, in the case of selling dung bunnies, probably is somebody who tends a garden, who is really into organic fertilizers, and probably has a little bit too much money on their hand. So there you go. I hope that this was helpful to get you unstuck and to get you out there and start selling your product without trying to make it too perfect. I think you will really benefit from this. So if you really like this episode, please share it with your friends, other founders. Click the subscribe button and hit that bell and give it a thumbs up. All right, so I'll see you next time on Startup Basics.